Alrighty, hello. Welcome to Raids with Randoms. We're doing a couple of little recordings here while we have the stream warming up. We have an Alolan Dugtrio Steel type, meaning its Iron Head is going to be particularly strong, especially after it uses Sandstorm at 50% hit points to get that Sand Force buff that it gets from its ability. Now, it does have Bulldoze and a scripted Earthquake. The Earthquake happens late in the raid, and being a Terra Steel, I feel like people might be a little tempted to load up fire types and iron hands, but fortunately, it looks like our first joiner is bringing Koraidon, so that is a good choice there. Now the sun is going to get cut once we get past the 50% mark, but that's not the worst thing in the world. In fact, with the Koraidon on the field, I am tempted to switch to my Poltegeist to give weak armor to the raid boss. That way Koraidon can deal more damage as a main damage dealer. If it just goes in and starts blitzing out with its collision course, I feel like that's going to be a pretty good run for the raid. Garchomp is another excellent ground type to throw into the raid here. So far we have really good choices being made by these randoms. Garchomp does get the options of Dragon Cheer, Breaking Swipe, a lot of good plays there. And I am tempted to go ahead and switch off the Mudsdale. I had initially decided on Mudsdale because of Stamina Body Press and the raid boss doing nothing to... in fact, we have a full physical squad. Yeah, I'm bringing the I'm a Little Teapot so that I can get the turn 1 skill swap. I was going to go for the Stamina Body Press, but we have 3 incredibly strong damage dealers on the board here. So them all being physical attackers, just straight up give it weak armor and let them run rampant. Dugtrio does have 2 scripted stat wipes, the 90% hit point and 80% time, but after those, the weak armor is going to stick, especially if we can get rid of its own ability. So there goes the Orichalcum Pulse. It is going for the Iron Head lead. As long as I don't flinch. And there's the skill swap. Perfect. Alright, everybody should be geared up for massive damage now. Koraidon is leading with the Swords Dance. That is fine. There are no stat resets that get used on the players. So them Swords Dancing, using bulk ups, whatever setups they want to do is valid here. Now, it is going to be an insanely fast Dugtrio, but Dugtrio is already a fast Pokemon. Fortunately, I have Sucker Punch that I can use to take advantage of its full set of standard damaging moves. Alright, Garchomp. We're going to need Garchomp to go ahead and get some swing in here. In fact, I think I'm actually just going to wait for the 80% time to drop that Sucker Punch in. There's the scripted Sandstorm. I'm waiting for the 80% timer. We should hit it any second now. Come on, guys. There's the stat wipe. That's what I was waiting for. Now a Sucker Punch to go ahead and get the weak armor tap to benefit the rest of the group, because that first weak armor tap after a stat wipe is what's going to set them up real nice. Earthquake goes off. Garchomp is doing massive hits through the shield, too. Like, that's the key point, is hitting through the shield on that, while also weakening its own damage. Drain Punch. Yeah, they're running a Drain Punch Annihilate instead of the Rage Fist, although I will say I personally prefer Rage Fist on Annihilate, but Drain Punch builds equally, like, maybe not equally, but still incredibly strong. There we go. Yeah, I did a skill swap, a protect, and a single Sucker Punch, and then 3 strong physical attackers out of randoms just swept this raid. I had to take note of seeing, oh yeah, everybody here has a solid pick. None of them are weak to attacks. The only thing we would have to worry about is maybe flinches coming from Iron Head, but that flinch is, I believe, a 20% chance from Ironhead, so not as much of a threat to worry about there. So that is another 6-star raid under our belt with a bottle cap. Yeah, good, because I just used some bottle caps to prep up some supporting Mews for raids.